Hello again and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about what is mindfulness. Jack Kornfield defines mindfulness by saying that traditionally sati sampajanya, or mindfulness and clarity of purpose, has two aspects, receptive and active. Mindfulness is first a spacious, kind, non-judging awareness of the present. Second, as sampajanya, mindfulness includes an appropriate response to the present situation. Tara Brach defines it as presence is not some exotic state that we need to search for or manufacture. In the simplest terms, it is the felt sense of wakefulness, openness, tenderness that arises when we're fully here and now with our experience. And John Kabat-Zinn, the pioneer of MBSR, says mindfulness is awareness cultivated by paying attention in a sustained and particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. The Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh says mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and alive, body and mind united. Mindfulness is the energy that helps us know what is going on in the present moment. In preparation for this video, I had to take a look at my own definition of mindfulness and required that I make a few adjustments. My definition is a state of open-hearted, non-judgmental, present-time awareness. That's the first part of it. That is the state, and then the active part of it, the part that is the doing part of mindfulness, actively attending to the present moment with open-hearted, non-judgmental attention. Wakeful attention, let's break that down for a minute. So, wakeful attention to the unfolding experiences that arise in the present moment. Non-judgmental, meaning allowing the situation to be without assigning value to it, being curious. And this is where my definition needed to be expanded. I really hadn't taken into account the bringing loving kindness or open-heartedness, kind attention into the practice. It's really difficult to actually be with what we're experiencing if we can't give it some care. So it's the caring about the experience and the response that also is a part of mindfulness from my perspective. Not trying to change the experience, seeing it as it is. Also, when our body and mind are in the same place at the same time. Mindfulness can help us in all of our relationships, whether it's with your partner or family, whether it's with friends or at work. It's helpful in all situations. Doesn't matter whether you're at the grocery store or sitting in traffic, whether you're at work. Mindfulness can be helpful. And especially in times of crisis or in times of awe. In those moments of crisis, mindfulness can help us figure out what is the wise or compassionate thing to do next. Likewise, in times of awe, it is that opportunity to actually take it in and savor it. I think something that's helpful to really understand what mindfulness is to understand the contrast to it, what it's not. I think we all know that sense of when we're in a trance and we're on autopilot, everything seems kind of fuzzy. Clearly, that's not a moment of mindfulness. But you have those times when awareness of maybe a difficult experience or a memory pops up and it brings you back into the moment. You realize, oh, I was lost. It's that moment when we go from being in that state of trance to the moment of awareness that is mindfulness. When we react to an urge and we push it away, clearly we're not in mindfulness at that moment. We'll probably know that moment when we recognize that we're somewhere else and we're having sort of a trigger. We feel it, we notice that we're pushing it away, resisting. And we can ask ourselves, why does this memory create resistance? That again is a moment of mindfulness. That moment when we wake up from the trance. So what I just spoke about really was that state of being, the state of mindfulness. That's the state that we can cultivate, and it's the state that we sometimes find when we're in the middle of a new experience and we're just kind of in it. And then there's also that the active part that I'd mentioned previously, actively attending to the present moment with an open heart, non-judgmentally. This is when we make the intention to stay present and come back to the present. When we create space for what is intentionally. It is deciding to allow the experience, allowing ourselves to look at it without pushing it away. It's caring about the experience and the pain that's underneath it. Becoming the one who knows. The process that we undertake to become the one who knows. The Buddha spoke of this concept of the beginner mind, which when we really practice the beginner mind, it allows us just to let go of all of the things we know, the preconceived notions, the prejudices, that sense that we've been here, done this, and just look at it with fresh eyes, look at it from the perspective of childlike wonder, what is actually happening right now? What are the values that I'm assigning to it? What is it that I think I know about the situation? And what is it actually like? What's it like in this moment? Textures can become different. Smells can become different. Just the entire sense of the experience can look different when we look at it from this perspective of the beginner mind, as if we are seeing it for the very first time, letting go of all of our conditioning. And of course, as I mentioned before, you can't quite get to mindfulness without a touch of kindness or compassion. So this idea of actively attending to the present moment means that we need to, as much as possible, bring in a sense of kindness and compassion, both for ourselves, for the experience, for the emotions that come up in the experience, and even for our reaction to it. We just can't see the experience fully when we're pushing it away, resisting it, or clinging to it. Another aspect of actively attending to the present mind from my perspective is the idea of connecting to self. It's in these moments where when we're actively attending to the present moment, we're allowing ourselves to be, allowing ourselves to come through in the experience, and being fully connected both with ourselves, with the flow of life, and whatever the experience is, however the experience presents itself. So the Buddha taught mindfulness through the study of the Four Foundations, also called the Four Arousings of Mindfulness. The Buddha described these practices, these principles, in the Satipatthana Sutta, and it's broken down into 4 sections. The 4 foundations of mindfulness are mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of feelings, mindfulness of thoughts, mindfulness of mind states or dharma, and some amount of blending of the 4. So sometimes the 4 can be combined into a single meditation. I'm not going to go through them in a lot of detail at this time, because that's what the practice is about. That's why we're here. But we'll develop mindfulness through our concentration practice, and we'll work with these 4 foundations as we continue with our studies. Our practices and time together will reveal more. So the last thing I want to talk about is, why is mindfulness important? It's important because it really helps us to be more fully present in each moment and to live our life, the life that's in front of us. It doesn't matter whether it's a mundane moment or whether we're in the presence of the sacred, when we are experiencing awe, to be alive as we engage in a novel activity. Because as Jack always says, this is your birthright. It allows us to see when we're hooked, where we add suffering to the pain that's already present, or where we repeat patterns or behaviors, to see the underlying causes of our pain and to allow us to bring an end to suffering.